Okay, well, thank you very much. I'm surrounded by great speakers, great hosts, so thank you very much for having me. Thank you also to Freepik for being making sure that I'm here. And as you mentioned, I am a copy content writer at Freepik, and nowadays I'm specializing on artificial intelligence. And I tend to spend most of my time in Stable Diffusion, as you mentioned, trying to get all the tricks and the magic from it. And so I think that the previous speakers were kind of talking a lot of in depth about things, and I'm going to be a little more practical and sort of we're going to have a very little presentation, and then we're going to be working on the website of the products of Freepik that I'm going to be presenting here at first. So we're going to be talking about Freepik and AI, and we're going to be exploring our features. Okay. So it's going to be divided into three very fast sort of blocks. The first one is Freepik. What's Freepik? If anybody's not familiar with it yet, and our approach to Gen AI or generative AI. Second, it's going to be the AI tools that we have, getting to know the features and how AI powers them. And then it's going to be, as CG mentioned, the scary part, the hands-on display on how to develop an AI creative workflow with these tools that we mentioned. And I'd like to say that I feel like we are more focused on how the user can experience and kind of get around these AI tools. I think that Maggie mentioned earlier on that maybe users and tend to get a bit lost when they're starting to, hear things about AI, and there's kind of a step missing between listening and being in the talks of AI and starting to walk and do stuff really with Gen AI. So I think we're going to kind of cover that step for our users. So first, we're going to be talking about Freepik, our approach to Gen AI. I think it's pretty obvious in the I would say, last year and so on, we've really surfed the wave of AI. We really launched ourselves into it because it feels like the something that can't be unavoided. And we're going to be talking about these two main characters. So Freepik is a search engine that helps users find high quality resources. So if you're in the design world, I feel like you might be very familiar with it. So photos, vectors, images, illustrations, PSDs, even mockups, everything for your creative projects. But also Freepik houses diverse projects such as SlideGo, Flaticon, Weepik, and StorySet. And get the name Weepik right in your break, and we're going to be talking about it a lot. And then what's the deal with generative AI? It's a type of artificial intelligence technology that can produce various types of content, going from text, imagery, audio, and synthetic data. Most of you, I'm sure, know what I'm talking about. And it's really not a new concept, but it was not until the invention of GANs that it really became a thing that could happen. It was like the inflection point. So as you can see from here, there are kind of two not really opposite things, but we're talking about a stock kind of a image bank and then a technology that really revolutionized that. So I think it was meant to happen that Freepik kind of jumped into that train. So I'm going to give you here a fast overview of the tools. I included the links, so if you want to check them by the name or anything, you can feel free and enjoy trying them out. So we have an AI image generator, like text-to-image generator, available on Freepik. It's been launched for, I think, less than a month, maybe. So I hope that you give it a go. And then we have Weepik's text-to-image AI image generator, which has a bit more of a run, and is the one that I'm really working more nowadays, both powered by Stable Diffusion. Nowadays, I think I can say I'm not getting into trouble, but with some implementations in the last few days. I'm not going to say it in case I get into trouble, but there are some things happening with Weepik's AI that are very interesting. And then maybe some of you are familiar with SlidesGo. Is everywhere the top place to go for presentations, for Google Slide presentations. And we also have an AI presentation maker where you can simply, by writing down a prompt, it will generate in, I think, less than a minute, a complete presentation with the text being brought in by ChatGPT, and the images are taken from Freepik's archives. So the images are not generated by search for in the archive, in the collection of images, but it's really a great product. Like in minutes you will get a presentation that I think it's certainly an end to the blank page syndrome that we get, because it really gives a very defined structure to work on, and you can modify and amplify it. But that's not all, because as I mentioned, there's multiple features that are powered by AI within Weepix, or as I like to say, within Weepix Insights. We have both FreePic and Weepix search engine is powered by AI. We also have different applications for photography in Weepix Editor, like the background remover, which is powered by AI as well. We also have theme blog posts in our blogs, and some YouTube tutorials going around. And also, I will mention the AI writer. We will see it, which is really text-to-text kind of output that you can use within your templates when you are editing in the website. So it's very useful, very handy. And I mentioned that you should keep in mind Weepix name and not forget it. Weepix is an online editing tool. I don't want to say it, but if you're familiar with Canvas, we're kind of very similar interface. We have multiple templates of many format styles available for different platforms, social media platforms, different kind of, if you need flyers, posters, anything that you can imagine to have it, and you can customize it. And we have a built-in AI generator within. So you can see that the live demo that we're going to be having now will take place within Weepix tools. So everything that we're going to do is going to happen in the same website, which is, I think, a great asset about it, about the whole workflow of it. So AI and photo editing features will be used, as well as the broad collection of pre-made templates that you can see in it. So let's get started with the live demo. We'll create an image using Weepix AI generator. We'll customize it with the editor, and we'll insert it in a pre-made template. So as I mentioned, getting in the mind of the user that is really looking to start working with AI tools. And maybe Midjourney is a bit scary because of Discord. I'm still getting around Discord, and this is really something that you can use in your computer. If it doesn't get on the way with my internet or anything, it would go perfect. So first things first, this is Weepix, and we have our landing page about AI. I invite you to take a look around it. It's very complete, and it has a gallery that's ever changing, filled with images. All of the images are made with Stable Diffusion, are made within the website. And you can simply type down your prompt here, choose your style, and you will get your images right here. So I suggest that we start with something as simple as maybe a sports battle. It will be a great product to get around, to start making this kind of entire workflow of a product, getting the image of a product and then inserting it in a template. So I have already prompt here that I'm going to be using. You can feel free to, if you are trying at the same time as me, feel free to use any prompt. We're going to be clicking on generate, and you'll see that it's taking me to a different page, which is the AI image editor, which is a brand new sort of, my ad block seemed to pop off. And right now we've kind of changed the interface of it. You can see that on the left side, there's a bunch of options that you can apply to your pictures, to your prompt, sort of like a prompt modifier, as we are calling it. So really, if your prompt is quite simple because you're not really that confident or are not sure about how to get around with prompts, it's okay, because you can simply select your style, your color, your lining, and your framing, and all the words behind it will make sure to give it a punch, to give your prompt a punch and make sure it's the perfect result. So our prompt was already processed, and these are the 4 images that we got. Stable Diffusion being Stable Diffusion got us something that's not really in the mood here, but it's okay. I'm going to read the prompt for you. So we asked for a photorealistic sport battle mockup, professional product photographs, minimalist mockup, intricate and highly detailed, brandless, elegant background, and no people. Okay, 3 out of 4 Stable Diffusion. Okay. But feel free to try as many times as you want with it. I always say that, maybe the first prompt gives you a good result, but curiosity killed the cat. I really want to see what will happen if I give it a second attempt. So while it's loading, you can see that in this interface, you have all your prompts and your previous generations backed in. So I tried a few of kind of interior designs, styles, maybe some cologne bottles, some more sports battles, Everything is related kind of to product photography. We're going to see how our prompt is going. Okay, so I don't know about you all, but I really like this one. So I'm going to download it. And as you see, it's already upscaling our image, which means it's going to be in a higher resolution, which is really our top thing to take into account. And as I also mentioned, WePick is kind of a perfect place to explore and discover the many templates that are available. So I was thinking that maybe if we are creating a design for a sports battle, it would be nice to have a kind of sporty design. So I'm here in the personal trainer posters templates, because even though they are themed in a way, feel free to change everything that you need. So I really like this template, the change the way you train templates. So we're going to open it here. And as you can see, I already changed here change the way you drink. It's already making it sort of more unified for our product. And what we're going to do is that we're going to upload our picture right here. I think I'm not doing it very fast, but we uploaded it. We're going to insert our picture in this design. Okay, and as I mentioned before, one of our more AI-powered tools is the remove video, remove background. So we click on it. We give it a few seconds. Remember that this is the image that we already made with the AI generator. And voila, so our image is quite good. It was very sharp. To be made in like seconds, I think is a very good result. Oh, I think there's something a little late, but we're going to, forgive it this time. So, okay, so we have now this template. We can change the options here. For example, we're going to make the picture in the background more blurry, and we have our bottle here. And maybe this happens to be the logo of our brand, so we can choose it and copy it, and we can insert it on top of our design, just like that. I'm simply Control C, Control V, just like that. And for example, we mentioned about how we have the AI writer, which is a tool already inserted in the editor, which will pop up when we choose any text. I'm going to put this slightly to the back. Okay. Well, this is some things of the live stream, the scary things of the live stream. Okay, you can see here the AI writer. So I'm going to ask it to write maybe 3 lines about a versatile sports battle, perfect for gym addicts, let's say. Okay. So a versatile sport bottle is a must-have for any gym addict. It should be durable, easy to carry, and able to hold a decent amount of liquid. With its sturdy design and convenient size, this sport bottle is perfect for any workout routine. So I guess it did a really good job. If we wanted to get in depth with it, we could really start like customizing our text and getting our boards and our italics and stuff. This is really kind of the fast version of the workflow, but if you're going to spend some time in the editor, you can see that there's plenty of tools to walk around. You can also, we're going to do the same with this paragraph underneath, but this time we're going to ask it to give 3 lines about making my clients buy this bottle. So we're doing this. This bottle is perfect for your outdoors activities. It's durable design and ensures they can withstand any adventure you take. Stay hydrated and stylish with this must-have accessory. So it's a good text. And as you can see, there's plenty of options here as well. So we could rewrite it if we're not really happy with it. They're kind of similar. We could make it shorter, make it longer, and we can even make it more casual. Stay hydrated and look cool while doing all your outdoor stuff with this tough sport bottle. So I think it's an extremely helpful tool to get around with users, with non-design and non-specialized users, which is the main target for WePick. Think of it as maybe users that want to brand their cafeteria, for example, and need to have some images and text in their posters and their flyers and even in their brochures. So this is a great tool to get around that kind of copywriting text that maybe you don't have at hand. So once we have our design made like that, we would simply have to zoom it out. And as you can see, WePick offers the chance to kind of download each item separately, to load all of them separately. We're going to download just the first one, which is the one that we edited, and we're going to select maybe PNG without background, JPEG, and download it. This is just a way to show how easy it should be for users to integrate this kind of. I'm using AI in my process to broadcast products that I have in mind or something. I'm going to show you a different selection of templates that are all powered with artificial intelligence images generated by Stable Diffusion. So, for example, if you want to have some interior design images, as I click on this picture. Oh, this picture doesn't have it because I think I imported it, but normally you will have the here exactly. You have your option, which is image detail on top, and it will show you the prompt that you use to create this image. And oops, because my zoom, I think is to zoom in, you can see the other options that you got when you generated your prompt, which is 4 different images as well. In this case, because it was some sort of spa, wellness, beauty kind of post, it was about soap. So yeah, but you could even click on this. You have your same prompt. This is like the older version of the AI generator that we saw with the options on the left side. But this is the one that you can use in the design without getting out of your template. So it really comes in handy. We will click on generate again if we're not really sure about that prompt. But as you can see, I think it's very valuable that the image kept its AI properties. So like it's not really an image that was generated and forgot that it was generated, and you can click on it, get its details, get its prompt back, and try and work on it again. If, for example, we decided that we want to work, we could download or include it in our design. So now we simply delete this, go here, and we select this as our background. You know, we want to crop it and we want to move in. Maybe we decided that we want to move this banner on because it's not group, sorry. But yeah, you can move around in your design. You can then again, if not feeling like it, go back, try and generate and insert different options now. So this is one example with a different kind of format. In this case, this is a business card or some sort of card that you can change with your clients, and is also powered by artificial intelligence. The one I showed here is the same. You can generate a lot of interior design images with Stable Diffusion. They really go well. It's optimal, great results, I would say. Another example, as I mentioned, if you're a small business owner, you have your cafeteria, you can't really get around running both a business and running your social media, which is kind of a pain for most small businesses. The image that you can find here also has this little icon, which is image details. So it will also get you back to the different selection of coffee images that we got for this image as well. And again, we could click on here, give me 2 lines about an adorable coffee shop. Okay, if we felt like it was too strong or too long for our design, simply make it shorter. And perfect. A cozy coffee shop with a warm atmosphere is perfect for a relaxing afternoon. Another example, for example, for restaurants, same thing. We have our image here. We inserted it. We have the different options here available as well. In this case, I feel like the AI image is the focus of it because it's very clear that you can see it. But for example, in the kind of back of the picture, is also an AI generated image. You can see there's plenty. Maybe we're going to replace it with this. But because as a design decision, you kind of make it blurry in the end. I'd like to call it sort of discrete AI, which I think is going to be, maybe I'm saying quite a big statement here, but in the coming years, is going to be the top thing to do in social media with AI in relation to optimize content, like to the content creation, to not running out of content, but at the same time, not depending on it being pictures and everything like that, not thinking, for example, of cultural institutions that you don't really have pictures all the time to use in your social media. This is going to be the great answer to that, I think. Another example in this case, to advertise, perfumes, colognes. exactly as we mentioned. I think because I imported these ones, but yeah, it's exactly you create with your prompt that I think is not going to be very far from here. And you can see it generates with a very simple prompt in Stable Diffusion, which is column bottle. This part of the prompt is what's inside of the modifier that I mentioned. So simply by writing down column bottle and clicking on photo, you will get these results, which I think they're really good. So this is what we were seeing here, and exactly the same thing that happened here. We can write, give me 3 lines about perfumes. Well, it got a bit longer, so we ask for you to short it. Okay, perfect. So keep in mind that the prompts that I'm asking the AI writer are very simple, but if we felt the need for it to include a certain name, a certain brand, or anything, we could also ask it. The prompt can be as complex as you feel like it. I'm just making it oversimplified for the case. Exactly. I'm just giving you some examples. This guy's for night photography. As you can see, the prompt is a dark and gloomy disco at night, neon lights, high contrast, people dancing landscape. It really got into kind of the illustration side here, but it gave us 2 really good kind of disco illustrations for it. If you want to advertise that you are a night photographer, but maybe doesn't have the right photography for the advertise that you're looking for, Stable Diffusion can lend a hand for sure. This is a very similar example to the one that we saw first with the bottle. As you can see, it's really about the design that you want to, the style of design, so to speak, that you want to share. In this case, I feel like it's a bit more warm. It's not really that sporty or really that kind of strong, but we did the same thing. This is an AI image. We inserted it into a template. The back of the AI generated image had this kind of brownish color. So we decided to change the template simply by clicking on the selector and going into the area with the tone that interested us more. So you can really even customize the palettes of the designs that are pre-made with the colors of the image that you've generated just now. So that I think is a great feature as well. And you can insert your image, customize it, even remove the background of it. You can move it around. I think you can well, we have a selection of effects as well. Maybe you can be interested in using depending on the template that you're sharing. So there's plenty of options to kind of sit down and start trying out Wipix Editor. And just, I think, to wrap it up, I'm going to show you the very last examples. In this case, and I really like this picture. I was very surprised when it came in. We also have book cover templates. So if anybody is publishing his own novel, book, whatever, maybe even for people in Wattpad and everything like that, you can generate your image with artificial intelligence, use a pre-made book cover and get it. So in this case, it was a sunset in the beach, summer, golden hours, silhouettes staring at the view, nostalgic photography, square. Photography and square are both the prompts that we got in when selecting the formats with the buttons. As you can see, there was plenty. Well, this is a bit like Tatooine, but we were speaking about astronomy and sci-fi, so yeah. But this much is simply delightful, so I got it in. You can do the same with movie posters. If you have maybe want to share a short film, whatever project you're working on, even for a cover, you can try the formats as well, implement these pictures, try out your prompts. And last, yeah, exactly. For CD covers, it will be the same. If you want to share a collection of swing classics, getting your prompt, an elegant woman playing the piano, jazz club atmosphere, and you will get around some different options. So I think I'm not really running that fast, and I want to share one last slide with you, and it's that if you were kind of interested in this whole thing of how to get us started with great prompt for portrait photography and how to showcase and start sharing your kind of your small business or products on places and stuff, we have a blog post on the post of the we have a blog post on Wipix blog about how to generate products photos with AI. the prompts are included in it, and it's like a walkthrough of what I just did. But I think more clearly, you can write it down, you can go back on it, and it's also accompanied by images. So I think it can be a very useful tool. Plus, what Maggie mentioned, where you mentioned that it's interesting to get that users, that people that are still a bit afraid or kind of a bit reticent on start to use artificial intelligence, or that they really don't know where to start. I really like the concept that Maggie said about the universal AI bar too, and I'm going to give a lot of thinking to that, because yeah, I think it's kind of scary for them. So with this kind of content, whether it's a blog post or it's tutorials as well, we're trying to make it kind of more didactic and closer to them. So I hope that you really liked it. I hope that the QR is working for all of you. And thank you very much.
Okay, thank you so much, Sophia, for sharing some insights and some examples in here. You know, when I was looking at all these examples, I was a little bit sometimes thinking, sometimes, is it just me? Maybe the audience could reply to that as well. Sometimes I feel like, well, that image, it almost smells like AI.
Yeah.
Sometimes you can you tell the difference? Like if you look at the images, can you sometimes tell that this is actually definitely not like a real photo, but this seems like a generated by AI? I mean, with illustrations, it's maybe a little bit more difficult, I think. Even then, maybe. But what's your take on this?
I think that nowadays I do have like a more trained eye on it. But
Right,
to be
right.
honest, I have some colleagues in FreePic who work in the selection of resources, like the pictures they're getting, and they have mastered the eye of watching, of differentiating AI images that you feel like it's impossible that it's AI, and it is. So they really have, like, I think it's a superpower for sure on how to
Right.
differentiate these, because they are really so watching a lot of them
Yeah,
nowadays.
I'm wondering also at this point, and this is actually a question that also came up, when we're looking at, again, this blurriness between what you get as an output from AI, what you get as, you know, as a photographer who really knows the ways and ins around image editing and photo processing and all of that. What will be then the role of a photographer who will still be hiring expensive professional photographers to go out and take pictures and, I don't know, go to places and all that? Or do you see this becoming like probably like more average use case would be just, okay, let's just generate some images, put them on bottles, on packaging and everywhere, and that should be good enough?
I think it's quite a tough question, because it's also comes, I think it's also in the back of people who are scared of what AI would do to the jobs. Because I, as a content writer, in a few months back, I was panicking at all of this, like thinking I've spent a lifetime trying to be a content writer, and now what's going to happen? So I think
Now you write faster and
and now
better,
I write
right?
fast and I write more. Actually, I
Yeah.
feel like I am nowadays an editor rather than a writer. So I think that with photography, something similar will happen, because I was talking with some colleagues, like, wedding photography will not be overtaken by
That's right.
AI. No, it's not
That's right.
really, I think that's going to happen. Or maybe events, sport events or something like that. So there's going to be maybe a shift on what needs more photographers, or what are photographers going to be needed for sure.
Right.
And so yes, I think it's going to be really like a shift, but not going
Yeah,
to be.
exactly. So I was speaking with a friend about that, and actually the idea that came up is that it's actually more likely that when we're looking at the role of AI, that it's probably going to be making things like stock photography less relevant, right?
Yeah.
Because you can always generate your own photos or stock or images or whatnot. But then, the art of photography, like really going in, like the wedding photography, as you're saying, that's probably not going to disappear that fast, right? But another question that I also have, and this is something that I think many of us are, I don't know, feeling at times, like whenever I start dealing or talking to GPT, I always try to be nice. I always say, dear ChatGPT, or please, or can you today do this? If it does this, can you write in the chat if you do? I try to be very polite. I don't know if
I
this
am
is
the
a good
first
idea.
one.
So instead
Yeah.
of just writing, I don't know, image background with fantasy effects and night photography, you're going to be, dear ChatGPT, could you please be so kind to, do this and this and with this and this and this detail? And it's like, it's also trying to be very polite to me.
I think that it also raises a very interesting question that I hadn't thought of before. I feel like people are more gentle when they talk into ChatGPT than when they talk to Midjourney or when they talk to Stable Diffusion. So it's very interesting because I think we feel more human when we talk into ChatGPT. So I'm the first one that is always, hello, please, can you write me an Instagram post about blah, blah, blah.
Right.
For Stable Diffusion is just as you mentioned, background people standing on the beach, blah, 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 blah. So I think it's really interesting. Maybe it's about the humanity of the language that we need to be like more polite to them. And just in case the machines rebel in a few years, I just want to say that I was nice to ChatGPT. So I hope that
So they will
they
keep
don't
record
get from
of
me
that.
first.
Yeah, I think that maybe if we're feeding like the human kindness to the machines, maybe they will be also kind of kinder to us. That's
Yeah,
kind of
that's a
trying
good
to
thought.
be
Yeah.
on the optimistic side of that. But thank you so much for joining us, Sophia, and also thank you so
Thank
much
you.
for your wonderful company to also helping us out with this wonderful meetup. Excellent.
Thank you.
Thanks. A round of clap emoji to Sophia, please, everyone.